Welcome to Fool's Key Tarot. I'm Ben, and this is a daily reading for Saturday, June 7th, 2025. Let's see what the cards have in store for us. The Ten of Pentacles in reverse. This can indicate perfectionism, trying to achieve a goal that's unrealistic, or sticking to an ideal that is unrealistic, even in the face of evidence that it's impossible. Next, the King of Cups, also in reverse. This could be tumultuous emotions. It could be a group of people who are at odds with each other and there's nobody there to mediate the group or to help calm everyone down or help people get on the same page emotionally. Finally, the Three of Cups. So we have Three Cups cards. The Three of Cups is upright, and this can indicate friendship and happiness and having a good time, celebrating something, enjoying the company of other people. So interesting that we would have this upright Three of Cups and then these two reversed cup cards. All cups, the two big ones, this is a 10 and then the kings are associated with the number 14. The large numbers are in reverse. The low number 3 is upright. So okay, I think that there are some people in your life that you enjoy spending time with. You may have recently had an event where you ate or drank with them. You probably told jokes together. This wasn't just a formal situation where you maybe had a good time. If your relationship with these people is more formal, like maybe they're work mates or schoolmates or somebody that you are forced to interact with, not purely socially normally, you've had some kind of interaction recently where those walls got torn down a little bit and you actually spent time together on a more personal level and connected with each other. You opened up about your feelings. You got to know each other a little bit better. Now, these might be people who are already your friends and who you already interact with in this way. It's not necessarily people that you used to be more formal with. But even if these were already people that you had shared with and connected with on a social level, this recent event represented a new stage in that journey. You shared things with each other that you hadn't shared before. You let yourself be more vulnerable than usual. Maybe you, for whatever reason, have held some of yourself back when interacting with these people in the past, and you recently let yourself show a little bit more. Maybe not all the way, but you're starting to open up to these people, feel more comfortable around them. You had a really good time. You broke the ice. You smiled together. You laughed together. And this was either unusual for this group or represented an escalation from what is normal with this group. And so you're feeling particularly connected and together. However, the rest of the reading isn't quite so happy looking, because with these two reversed cup cards, I'm thinking that it's not as good as it seems on the surface. So first of all, I think that somebody wants to be in charge of this group, and they either feel dissatisfied because the other people aren't listening to them or they don't have the control that they wanted, or they are trying to take control, and that might cause feelings to be hurt. It might cause the unity of the group to suffer, to break apart. The recent progress that you made where you felt more connected and had more fun together, there's a risk of losing that progress. In fact, I think that it may have been around that time that somebody either decided that they should be the leader of this group, or they had already thought that and they decided to make a move to try to actually implement that. And there could be a variety of methods that they might use. There could be subtle manipulation behind the scenes to get people to do what they say and think what they think. It could even be a little bit more of a formal situation where they ask to be the decision maker of the group. They ask you to show deference to them. This could be something they're in the process of doing. They may have started this and you're not aware of it yet. It's also possible that you're the member of this group who's trying to put yourself above the rest of the group and take charge. And I think that this is being done, whether it's you or somebody else, it's being done with something good in mind. They have a vision for what this group of people could be in the future that would be even better than what it currently is. If you've just started to tear down the walls between you and connect to each other and to be vulnerable around each other and to support each other and to feel closer to each other, that process can continue and it could eventually lead to an almost idyllic future where you're like a tight-knit family, maybe literally a family if this is like a romantic situation, but it easily could be more of a platonic group situation. No matter what, there is some kind of possible future that is very bright and shiny. It involves everybody being very happy and integrated into the group and getting what they want and getting what they need. But for whatever reason, this future is probably out of reach. It might be that this is just one area of life for many of the members of this group. It could be a social club that people are involved in, maybe through work or through a church or through a hobby where you get drinks after work or after some meeting or event and you hang out together and you have fun. But for a lot of people, this is just one section of their life. And then they also have a family, or they also have other groups of friends or other activities they're involved in. But for somebody else, it might be everything. And they're imagining bringing everyone together and making this group more and more central to everyone's life, and eventually maybe even having it envelop the lives of everyone involved or become a major part of everyone. And even though you're having fun so far with the amount of connection that has happened recently, it might not be that everybody in this group is down to continue to open up even more to each other, to continue to share each other's lives even more, and to make this group more and more central to their social life and to their being. But there's somebody in the group, maybe more than one person, who has this vision of a future, and they are working hard to bring that about. And that is going to cause friction because not everybody's on the same page. So basically what I'm seeing here is a group of people who are getting close and getting to know each other, and they're having a lot of fun, and things feel like they're going really well. But some people have a more ambitious or longer vision view of where this might be headed. And they might be taking it more seriously than everybody else. They might have an overly ambitious picture in mind of where this group could go and what it could be to the people who are in the group. And whoever is having this vision and wants to bring this future about, and it could be more than one person, but I think there's one mastermind or one person who's taken the initiative and is going to try to bring this about actively. Maybe there are other people in the group who agree with the vision, but somebody is the one who's really pulling the strings and trying to make it happen. And unfortunately, that is going to cause friction, I think, because I don't think everybody's on the same page. And whenever you try to control the group, what has worked so well about this group is the way that everybody is kind of equal and sharing with each other as colleagues, as friends, without a sense of hierarchy or a sense of obligation to each other. You are enjoying each other's company purely for the pleasure of it, not because you have to do it. Now, that doesn't mean that you didn't show up originally because you had to. Maybe this was a work event that you thought would be boring, but then you ended up having a great time with some people who you thought were boring people maybe, or you kind of knew but didn't know that well, but then you ended up really opening up to each other and having fun. So whatever it started as, it ended as something that didn't feel like an obligation. It felt like everybody voluntarily wants to share with each other and be around each other. But somebody is trying to move it to something that's past that, at least what would be past that for some of the people in the group. And they may not even be fully honest with the group about their intentions. They might be doing this in the background and trying to subtly shift things in this direction, rather than just coming out and saying what they want and asking if that's what other people want. I think that there could be some problems that arise due to this person's scheming, I'll say, but it's not necessarily bad. Scheme has a negative connotation. They're just trying to bring about a bright future that they see the potential for. And they definitely have the good of the group in their mind as they do this, but that doesn't mean that it is good for the group. They just believe that it would be. So that's where this gets a little complicated. And I think what the cards are telling you, if you're involved in the situation, you might be the person who's trying to make the group grow into something more. You might be somebody who's in the group and sympathetic to that person, but not sure. You might be somebody who is part of that group and doesn't share that vision of the future. You might even be outside of the group and just seeing this. Maybe somebody that you care about is involved in a situation like this, and you're going to get swept up in it if it continues farther. No matter which part of this situation you're in, I think what the cards are telling you is that there's no future that is happy and ideal if everybody who would be involved in that future isn't on board. You can imagine a group getting along really well indefinitely into the future, but you're not going to be able to trap anybody into that, because if you do, then it's not going to be as happy as you wanted. They either have to participate willingly, or they're going to participate in a way that is not ideal and is not happy or good for everybody involved. So there's sort of a false future here that somebody has in mind, because it can't be both ways. Either it's all voluntary, in which case some people will leave or be less involved, or it's more forced, in which case even if people are together physically, they might not actually be opening up to each other, enjoying each other's company as much. You can't force these kinds of situations. Just because you get a group of people in a room together who get along and maybe had fun in the past, if it's not in the right conditions, if people aren't in the right mood, they're not necessarily going to have the same amount of fun or be in the same sharing and open mood. And if somebody tries to force that, it's probably not going to work the way they want it to, even if their heart is in the right place. So remember that when you make plans for the future and have dreams of the future, if that involves other people, you need to make sure that they are on the same page. Otherwise, there's simply no hope of making that future come to reality. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get them on the same page, even if they're not currently there, but that's something that you want to do openly and honestly, and not through manipulation or trickery. And if you're somebody who's in this group and you don't have these dreams of the future, I would be on the lookout for other members of the group who might have more expectations built up in their own mind than they're letting on. And that could lead to some pretty serious drama or hurt feelings in the future. But if you address it sooner rather than later, then it will be easier to get past, and the group is more likely to maintain harmony and to continue to enjoy each other's friendship after this is exposed and dealt with. The longer it goes on unseen and unaddressed, the bigger of a problem it will be when it finally does come to light, and it certainly will eventually. The question is sooner or later. So one thing that you could do to help is to just be aware of what everyone is thinking in the group. Don't assume that they are all thinking the same thing as you or have the same mindset or the same expectations. And if there is a difference in expectations or hopes for the future, you want to expose those things and talk about them now, even if they're a little bit uncomfortable, because they will be even more uncomfortable if left in the dark. So if you enjoyed this reading, then subscribe to see more. And if you'd like to learn about tarot cards or try some of my online guided readings, then head on over to foolskey.com where you can check that out. Thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow.